Well, it speaks to how desperate the Reserve Bank and the economic fraternity sees what's happening with this COVID-19 impact. You're quite right, Tulis. Around about 15 minutes ago, an email coming into my inbox from the Reserve Bank saying that the MPC, that's the Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank, had met, and they've decided to cut the repo rate by another 100 basis points. That's effectively another full percent. Remember, last month we had a full percent cut as well, so that's 2% in less than a month. And I heard you in your discussion with Tumelo over there saying how welcome this could be. There are businesses that have loans at banks, there are individuals that have home loans, and that could put some relief in their pockets, this emergency cut. But once again, it does speak to how desperate the economic situation is to us.
Yeah, I mean, Devin, when we look at this, we're definitely seeing, the Reserve Bank, sort of come into party here. I remember we had a conversation with COSATU President Zingiswa Losi, and the appeal there was that before, seeking assistance from the International Monetary Fund or even globally, let's perhaps rally in as a country, starting with the Reserve Bank, starting with local, business authorities and, economic authorities, and seeing how they can, of course, make things a lot more lighter for the consumer. Could this be a step in the right direction?
Well, I think it's a move to actually put some money in the pockets of some people, but certainly that's not enough. You have commentators over the weekend in the Sunday newspapers saying that we need to approach the IMF. Even the New Development Bank reportedly out to give us $1 billion, but that's just not good enough. I mean, we're going to have much more bigger amounts than that. So, indeed, these actions by the Reserve Bank, these fiscal measures that might be there from the Treasury, they're just too little to actually fight against what the big economic impact is. So yes, welcome that we've got another interest rate cut, but I think there's going to have to be some other form of international intervention here, Tumelo.
Lastly, Devin, this goes back to that policy discussion that we keep having about, the discipline that the Reserve Bank has exercised over the pressure to cut interest rates in the last 2-3 years. When people were saying, cut the rates, what are you waiting for? Cut the rates. And only at the right point at which actually we are now in crisis mode are they able to do this. Leaves me wondering, though, how much more room to maneuver do they still have, particularly on this front of monetary policy?
They can't continue to cut rates with no stopping, Tula, simply because already we've seen the Rand reacting to this. Remember that the Rand likes an environment where there is a higher interest rate because investors collect yield. Once you start dropping that interest rate, you might see the Rand weakening. We probably, if we look at the counter, already seeing that dip. So to answer your question, is there enough room? Not for long. But you're quite right when you pointed out that the Reserve Bank governor had said in his last meeting if they were cutting rates willy-nilly, so to speak, excuse the phrase, they would not have room. So perhaps that caution that we've seen previously, some may argue, was the right thing to have done, because now indeed there is room to cut rates.